Good afternoon, everyone. This is Attorney Ahmed Yagzan from the American Dream Law Office, coming to you for our weekly live session this week. If you could please follow us and like us and give us some hearts on TikTok and all the other social media platforms that we're on, we would really appreciate it. We do have a bunch of questions. I posted a video on TikTok earlier this month, like last week, about the rights use of Anchor Baby against um, Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, because she's running for um, president. So if you could please share it and like it and follow us, I would really appreciate it. We have a bunch of questions this month, um, and we actually didn't even go through all of them this month. So I have some new ones, and I have some questions that are leftovers from our last week live session. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post them. If you have if you have anything that we need to answer, please go ahead and do that for us. And if you um, could give us some hearts, I would really appreciate it on TikTok and some likes on Instagram. Um, as usual, if you want to call us, the number is 888-963-7326, or you can go to americandreamlawoffice.com. You can actually set up a free 15 minutes consultation with one of my intake staff. So if you want to do that, go ahead and go right now. Actually, you can book it right now if you would like. Again, it's americandreamlawoffice.com. I would like to get to 500 hearts today on TikTok if we can. If you guys can help out with that, I would really appreciate it. All right, so the first question that we have for this week is, how can I know if I'm eligible for EB1 um, or EB2 NIW? I have a science degree from the UK and 15 years of work. Um, I the use of NIW EB2s is actually very rare when it comes to getting a green card. I actually dissuade people from doing it when they don't have a lot of things that they have on their background. It's almost having to get all the way to the EB1 category for outstanding ability and just falling short by 1 or 2%. So the NIW, a lot of people are doing NIWs. The problem is the government actually is sometimes not approving the I-140, and a lot of lawyers down in Miami, for example, are taking those cases when the people clearly don't qualify for the NIW waiver. So please, please, please make sure that if you do actually um, hire someone who does NIW, that they're not taking they're taking you for granted and taking your money. So please, please, please make sure that you are hiring a reputable attorney to do that. Now, the NIW is usually when you apply for a green card, you have to get what's called a labor certification. The labor certification means that your employer is proving that no one in the United States can actually do your job. So if you do have that labor certification, usually you can apply for the I-140 and get a green card that way. So the NIW waiver means that it's in the national interest of the United States for you not to have to go through the labor certification, which means that you don't have to prove that other people, there's no one else can do your job in the United States. You don't even need a sponsor for an IW green card. You actually can technically self-petition. But if you do self-petition, but you have to prove that your endeavor that you're going to be doing will actually be in the national interest of the United States. I have some friends who've done it for people who drove trucks during the pandemic, for example. So if you do think that you qualify for an NIW, a green card, I would give us a call, schedule an appointment with me, and we can go through the steps, and I would be more than happy to tell you if you qualify or not. The second question that we have is H-2B visa out of country. So how do you get an H-2B visa if you're outside of the United States? I'm going to tell you a couple of things when it comes to getting a visa outside the United States. Please make sure that you're not using a broker or anybody who's going to make you pay money to be able to file for you for a green card or a work visa. I have seen it so many times where people were actually were taken to the cleaners when they did that. Those employers would charge you $5,000 or $6,000 just to actually get the job, and that's highly unethical and illegal. So if anyone is asking you to actually pay money to get a job offer, that's illegal, and you're going to get in trouble if you do that here in the United States. If it's a bona fide H-2B agency, an H-2B recruiter, you can actually get an H-2B visa here in the United States. What usually happens is that the employer would get the H-2B visa petition done here in the United States. So you have temporary labor certification, and they need people to get recruited overseas. So usually people and employers hire people to recruit overseas if you come from a country that qualifies for the H-2B. And when you come here to the United States, the H-2B is good for 9 months. After the 9 month period is actually renewable. So the first part of the petition happens here in the United States, and then the second part, if you're outside the United States, then that petition is sent to the embassy where you live, and then you will get you apply it through a DS-160 application and get a green card. Not the green card, I apologize, the H-2B at the U.S. Embassy in your country. So you are able to do it. I just caution you that if you get someone who actually says you have to pay me money to give you a visa to go work in the United States, that's going to be an issue, and it should be a big, big, big red flag for you. Please don't do it. Okay, go ahead, ask some questions if you have them on TikTok or any of the other social media platforms. I'll be more than happy to answer them, guys. Okay, so the third question that I have is, I am a green card holder. Can I apply for my siblings to come to the U.S.? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is no. Um, green card holders can only apply for their spouses and children under and over 21. So if they're under 21 or over 21, if they're over 21 years old, um, they have to be unmarried. Um, and you won't be able to apply for a sibling to come to the United States until you become a U.S. citizen. And then usually that petition takes about 16 years for the visa number to become available. Now, there are some other ways to do it. I have done it for people where the wait line was a very long time, but they qualified for other visas. So what we usually do is we apply for an investor visa, for example, for the sibling, for your brother or sister to come here into the United States, and as long as they stay on that investor visa until the visa number becomes available, you're actually able to get the green card when that visa number become available. So there are ways around it to have your sibling here in the United States. So if you're trying to do that, give us a call again, or you can contact us on WhatsApp. The phone number for WhatsApp is +1 727 301 9328. The next question we have is, I'm a U.S. citizen. I would like to petition for my parent who is here on an asylum application. So what happened is the parent came here to the United States a while ago, applied for asylum, but they didn't don't have a green card yet, or they didn't have the interview yet with the asylum officer, and you can actually apply for them as long as your parent made a legal entry into the United States. you are able to apply for them. Even if their asylum is still pending, you can actually apply for a green card for them. Now, I've had these cases before where the parent has been here for like 30 or 40 years, and we were able to actually get the green card for them. Usually, it's a very easy application. They would be an immediate relative of a United States citizen, so you're able to apply for the green card. There are a couple of tricky things though. If your parent applied for asylum and they already went to immigration court and they have a removal order against them that's not executed, you will have to reopen that asylum case in front of the immigration court before you can adjust their status. So just be careful that if your parents actually had an asylum hearing in front of the judge, please don't do it without consulting an immigration lawyer, because if you do it, it's gonna get denied, or worse, the immigration is going to remove them from the United States, which you probably don't want to do. Um, the next question that I have is my boyfriend is detained. He does not have papers. Can I get married with him to stop the deportation? Absolutely. If you are a U.S. citizen, um, and you are engaged or in a relationship with someone who is in removal proceedings, you can actually get married to that person to see if you can get their permanent residence in the United States. Um, there are two things that we have to worry about, though. If the person is detained, you do have to apply for a bond for them before you could apply for their green card, and have them leave the detention center before you can actually get them the green card. The second part that you have to worry about is, um, if the person is in removal proceedings, the beneficiary, there is a heightened evidentiary uh, requirement for the immigrant visa petition to be approved, meaning that if you actually um, apply for their I-130, usually you have to prove that your marriage is bona fide before the I-130 can actually get approved. Usually that means that you're going to an interview in front of an officer of USCIS officer to be able to get that immigrant visa approved for the beneficiary. So if you are getting married to someone, these are the two things that you have to worry about. The third thing is, if they are in front of the immigration judge, you will not be able to apply for the green card in front of USCIS without the immigration judge closing that removal case, and then you will be able to apply in front of USCIS. But if the immigration judge doesn't allow you to close the removal proceedings, you have to apply for the green card in front of the immigration judge. If you're watching us on if you're watching us on TikTok, I would really appreciate some hearts, guys. And please follow us on all social media platforms. We're on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. We're on Facebook. So if you could please follow us, I would really appreciate it. Um, the second the next question that I have is, I have an H-1B visa. I get married to a United States citizen. Can I apply for a green card? Absolutely, positively. That I've done these so many times. As long as you're here in the United States, and you made a legal entry into the United States, if you get married to a U.S. citizen, absolutely, you can apply for your green card, even though you're on an H-1B. And again, I have several of those cases pending right now for clients who came in here on an H-1B. For example, if you're from India, you have an H-1B and you have a labor certification and an I-140 that's already approved. The wait times for people to get a green card, or if they're from India, is a very long time. If you actually get married to a United States citizen, then you don't have to wait for a visa number to become available for you, and you will be able to be classified as an immediate relative of a United States citizen, and you can get the green card right away. So, in addition, the H-1B allows for what's called immigrant intent. So, if you are on an H-1B, it does allow you to have the intent to immigrate to the United States. Um, even though it's a non-immigrant visa, you'll be able to do it. So I wouldn't worry about that. But if you are engaged, or if you are in a relationship with someone, and they are a United States citizen, and you're an H-1B visa holder, absolutely you can apply for your green card through a petition from them. The next question that I have is, I have been a green card holder since 2019. I stayed outside of the United States for 1 year. Can I apply for citizenship? So I get this question at least 3 or 4 times a week, and I meet with people and have consultations on this issue several times a month. So, and I absolutely love these questions. One time had a client who stayed outside the United States for 13 years. The government placed him in removal proceedings for abandonment of residence, and I was able to defend that in immigration court, and have him keep his green card, and we were able to apply for his citizenship 5 years after he got his green card back. So there are a couple of things. Let me explain to you very quickly what are the requirements for you to become a U.S. citizen. In order for you to become a U.S. citizen, you have to have a green card for at least 3 to 5 years. You have to be a person of good moral character, which means you can't have anything that has to do with criminal background. Anything like that will stop that good moral character, and it will restart the clock on that. So if you get detained or convicted or anything like that, it will actually get restarted if you owe taxes to the U.S. government. One of the requirements is physical presence, meaning that you have to be in the United States for 30 months if you're applying under the 5-year rule, or for 18 months if you're applying under the 3-year rule if you're married to a U.S. citizen. However, under U.S. law, if you are in the United States, if you are a permanent resident, you're telling the U.S. government that you're becoming a permanent resident to actually stay in the United States the majority of the time, which means more than 180 days in the United States in any given year. So if you leave the United States for more than 180 days on a green card, you have and you try to come back, there is a presumption that there is a rebuttable presumption, they call it, a rebuttable presumption that you did not want to uh, abandon your residence. If you stay outside the United States for more than 360 days, then there's an absolute presumption that you actually wanted to abandon your residence, meaning that even the green card itself will expire automatically if you stay outside the United States for more than 360 days. Now, there are a couple of things that you could do if you know that, to preserve your residence. If you get a re-entry permit, you preserve your residence, so you can go back to your country and stay there for up to 2 years. If you have that re-entry permit, so you don't have to worry about, the 180 days and the 360 days. You could, however, if you do that time that you stay outside the United States on that re-entry permit will not count towards your physical presence in the United States when you try to apply for citizenship. The next thing that you have to worry about is when it comes to staying outside the United States for more than 360 days. If you do stay outside the United States for more than 360 days, you can re-establish your residence by staying here in the United States for more than 4 years. If you are 4 years and 1 day, if you got your green card, your green card through employment or anything, or if you're applying for citizenship under the 5-year rule, and you have to be here in the United States for 2 years and 1 day, and you can reestablish your residence for immigration purposes, and you can actually apply for citizenship. So let's say you stayed outside the United States for more than 180 days. The CBP officer let you back into the country, even though you have an expired green card. then what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to reestablish your residence by staying for this amount of time that I actually just told you. Hey guys, we're at 250 hearts on TikTok. I would really love to reach 500, so if you can leave us a heart, I would really appreciate it. And if you're not following us and you're on TikTok or any of the social media platforms, please go ahead and follow us. I literally uh, do a video every single day when relating to immigration. So if you're an immigration aficionado like me, please follow us so you can see my videos. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook. And the handles on all of our social media is American Dream Law Office. We're also on Twitter. Just on X, just search for American Dream Law Office and we'll show up. And please follow us on X because we need the followers over there. Instagram, we need the followers over there. We have more than 20,000 followers on Facebook, and we're getting to 7,000 followers on TikTok. So if you can help me get to 7,000 followers on TikTok because of this live, I would really appreciate it. Please follow us if you're not following us. Okay, so the next question that I have is Biden's new law. People want to know what to do or how to apply. Okay, so if you follow US politics, a couple of weeks ago, President Biden said that he's going to allow people who have been married to United States citizens and have been here in the United States for more than 10 years for them to be able to apply for the green card here in the United States if they came in an irregular way or they had an undocumented entry or entered without we call it entered without inspection. So if you don't have a legal entry into the United States, President Biden is going to allow you to apply for your green card here in the United States. Again, I have a couple of videos on them on social media and YouTube. So if you want to go watch these, again, our YouTube channel is American Dream Law Office. Just look us up on you, search for us on YouTube, and you can hear that video. So what the president is going to be signing executive order to do is allow you, as I said, if you've married to a United States citizen and you came in without inspection and you've been here for 10 years, they're going to use what's called parole in place for you to cure that irregular entry into the United States, meaning that the government is going to parole you for you to be able to apply for adjustment of status here in the United States. Right now, as I said earlier, that if you came into the United States without inspection, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to apply for adjustment of status unless you fall under a very special exception. And it's getting that special exception, the eligibility for it is getting much less likely because it was passed by Congress in the 1990s, and then President Clinton actually extended it where you pay the $1,000 penalty and you'll be able to apply for the green card here in the United States. But President Biden is going to actually sign an executive order in the next month or so to allow you to apply for your green card here in the United States. Now, there aren't any executive orders yet. So if you're watching us and someone is asking you, pay me $2,000 for me to be able to apply for that, please do not do that. There are a lot of scammers out there, especially notarios. Call an immigration attorney like me and speak to someone like me. Make sure that you are getting the best advice possible because the law is not into effect yet, and it's not even a law. It's going to be an executive order like the one that President Biden actually, it's President Obama, I apologize, the one that President Obama signed in 2012 to apply for you to help you apply for DACA. So if you are waiting for that, again, don't sign a contract with anyone. It's not 100%, and my prediction is that just like what happened with DACA, there is going to be a court challenge for it by some of the border states. I think Texas might actually file a lawsuit to enjoin to enjoin that executive order when it comes out. So again, um, and I will probably go live when that executive order comes out, and I will be able to explain it to you when it comes out. The executive order is going to help a lot of people also who are not married to U.S. citizens. Um, up, it's going to allow um, it's going to allow some employers to apply for visas for DACA recipients, and it's going to allow the State Department to waive some requirements for them. They will be able to go overseas and come back without any issues. So there are some things in the executive order that are not clear yet, but um, we don't know what the language is going to be. So stay tuned, and I'll be more than happy. I'll be more than happy to go live and answer any of your questions when it comes out. All right, so can a person with a criminal record from their home country still immigrate? Um, I've actually been asked that question. Um, I've been asked that question a couple of times now when on our lives. Um, and it really depends on what kind of criminal record you have. Um, in order for you to come to come to the United States, um, you have to be admissible into the United States, meaning that there is nothing stopping you from coming into the United States. If you're here in the United States, you could be inadmissible and deportable, but if you're coming into the United States, you have to be admissible. And if you're not admissible into the United States is not going to allow you into the United States. So the question that we have is, if I have a criminal record, can I come into the United States? And the answer depends on what what kind of criminal record you have. So there are some things that allow you to come to the United States, even though you were convicted of something in your country, like petty offenses, things like that, what you will allow you to apply for a waiver in some instances for you to come to the United States. In some instances, um, you will not be allowed to come into the United States. Uh, when it comes to anything related to drugs, for example, it's very hard to come into the United States if you have a drug conviction, especially if it's a trafficking conviction or anything like that. Something with very high amount or a very big amount of narcotics is going to be an issue. So, can you still come into the United States? Absolutely, but it's going to depend on what kind of criminal record that you have. So, again, as I said, if you do have a criminal record and you're trying to come to the United States or trying to apply for a green card, call us on WhatsApp. The number +1 727 301 9328, or go to AmericanDreamLawOffice.com and drop us a line, and we'll be able to get in touch with you. Call us 24/7. We monitor. Call us 24/7, and we monitor the lines 24/7, and we'll be able to help you. The next question is, what are the can a student visa holder start a business while studying? Now, the short answer is yes, but I wouldn't do it if I were you. Okay? You can own a business in the United States, but you cannot work for the business as an F1 visa student holder. So what I mean is, let's say an F1 student has $100,000 and they go buy a Subway franchise. There's nothing stopping you from owning a business. Now, when it gets tricky is if you start working at that Subway franchise and and actually paying yourself. You can pay yourself dividends, but you can't work in the franchise. That would be a violation of your status. Now, as I said, can you do it? Yeah. Should you not do it? That's what I would recommend. Again, if what I would do if I were you on an F1 visa and you're trying to open a business is own it, hire a manager, hire someone to run it. don't even show up there. But what I'm saying is you don't want the impression that you're actually working at the you're working at the business. So if you are going to own a business, please try not to work there. Guys, we have about a couple of minutes left on TikTok. We have about 105 likes to reach my goal of 500. If you can please help us out, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so this is probably going to be the last question that I answered this week. What are the tax implications of investing in a U.S. business on an E2 visa? Now, if you are on an E2 visa and you're getting income in the United States, of course you have to file a uh, a tax return with the United States government, with the IRS, every single time you every single year you have to apply for a tax return for the business, and you have to apply for a tax return that's personal to you. Now, a lot of countries around the world have what's called a tax treaty with the United States, meaning that you will not get taxed in both countries. So you can get a tax credit for each for the taxes that you pay in, for example, in Canada. You can get a tax credit for that here in the United States, and you can use the taxes that you pay here in the United States as a credit in Canada. So you do have to, if you're working in the United States on an E2 visa and you are making money from the business, you do have to pay taxes on the earnings that you get from the business. Now, thank you so much for joining us today. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for helping us reach our goals on TikTok. If you want to reach out to us, guys, the number from the United States is 888-963-7326. Again, 888-963-7326. The number for WhatsApp is +1 727-301-9328. And the website is americandreamlawoffice.com. Now, we do have the website in Arabic and in Spanish. So if you don't speak English, you will be able to actually go and navigate it and get in touch with us. Thank you all so much for joining us this week. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.